You ready? Here we go. What is up, everybody? On today's show, we've got a whole bunch of updates, including updates on Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, my merch store, and the biggest update of all, my schedule this week is changing because Silent Hill 2 Remake is available early, and I had to jump on that opportunity when I learned about it. Plus, we're going to have some fun gaming news and a chill atmosphere. It's going to be a good, laid-back, and informative, positive show on today's episode of the Level 1 Podcast.
Get ready for some meaningful content, because the king is back, the king of the live stream, the king is back. Woo!
Alrighty, everyone. How is everyone this lovely Friday? It is October 4th, 2024. I'm Darkside Phil, the King, and I'm here for another full and fun day of gaming, plus an awesome podcast, of course. I hope that you're all doing well. I hope that your weekends are starting off with a good start, like mine is, because we got some great, positive, interesting updates to talk about today. You know, my schedule now updating as a result of a really positive update of Silent Hill 2. Also, today is the actual first autumn rainstorm that we've had. It is beautiful outside, and what I mean by that, it's dreary and raining, but that's streamer weather, because it means that this room will be nice and cool. I have the window cracked open. I've got cool air blowing in. You can actually see the lighting in my setup nicely. This is 2 thumbs up good stuff for me, and I'm excited for today, actually. I'm really excited, a really good mood, energized for the day. Raring to go, okay? And so, I feel like what we should do is start with a couple of the positive updates regarding my schedule and the like. So let's jump right in, shall we? Okay, so the first topic to talk about today will be my merchandise store, all right? I have an update for everyone regarding the merchandise store. I'd like to just bring it up because we haven't talked about it in a bit. You know, I don't want to talk about it every day and then have it shoved down everybody's throat, and then everyone's tired of hearing about me gab about it. But every once in a while, I feel like I should talk about it because I have updates, okay? And I do have some updates for you guys. So, FYI, within the first 2 days of this store being live, and it launched, you know, last weekend, earlier in the week, it had over 30 items sold within 2 days. I haven't even asked for an updated tally yet to see who else might have bought stuff over the course of the week, but FYI, it's doing pretty good. All right, you can access it here at darksidephil.shop. And just a quick reminder, free global shipping on all orders over $40. So if you buy 1 or 2 items, right, you may make that threshold depending on what you buy, and then there's no fee for shipping. But if you do buy like a onesie off and it's under 40, then you will have to pay shipping on that, okay? Now, people have been asking me a few questions about the shop that I would like to answer for you all today, because, you know, it is my merch that's being sold. For the record, I can't believe I have to be transparent about this, okay? I don't own the company, okay? I didn't personally finance a startup company to make me merch. I have to make this clear because some people are so silly and they try to accuse me of things. I don't run the company, okay? All I'm doing is they are a processor for me. They are creating the products, they are processing orders, and they are mailing them out worldwide, so they get a cut of those profits. But I'm not making the shirts. I don't have them here. I don't have any information about you guys if you order there. I don't do any of it, okay? All that happens is I provide the designs, I give recommendations on products, I approve the final products, and then they sell them for me, okay? Now, FYI, here's what's going on. A lot of people have ordered in the last week, and they started hitting me up with questions. They're like, Phil, when's my order going to ship? And Phil, what's going on with this? And I'm like, I don't know. Okay, I don't run the shop. So, FYI, I have some updates on that. Okay, basically, I did speak with the company overnight because I wanted to get you guys some answers. And I have some answers. So here it is, straight from the horse's mouth, as they say. So here we go. I'm going to read it word for word from the response that I got. Here you go, guys. So if you've purchased something from my merchandise shop, customers should receive information when they place an order. Initially, you'll get a confirmation. Then you should be notified when it leaves and is on its way. So, i.e., when it ships, you should get another notification. And then it should also have tracking info included with that shipment notification. And then when it arrives, you should get a delivery confirmation. So it's 3 steps: order placement, shipment information plus tracking info, and then delivery confirmation. Okay. Should you have any viewers, fans, or customers that are reaching out to you, all right, tell them to go to this email address, info@darksidephil.shop. Okay, so if you have any questions about an order you've placed, go to info@darksidephil.shop. Obviously, include your order information. They're going to need that to access and give you a response on what's going on with your order. Okay, and there you go. Now, FYI, in regards to me and what's going on with me. So they had sent me 2 mugs, 2 level 1 podcast mugs that I'm going to be showing off on stream. In fact, here they are. These 2 mugs. So basically one of each of these mugs was processed and they're being sent to me so I can show you guys what the mugs are like. I've already showed you several of the shirts that they sent me, but I haven't shown you any mugs yet. Okay? Those are supposed to arrive today. So once those arrive here, I'll show you what they are, on streams. In fact, I'm going to probably use them to drink. Rather than me picking up this giant bottle constantly, I'll probably just fill the mug and sip from the mug and then refill and sip from the mug. And that way you'll see the mug on stream and get an idea, what it is for, versatility, right? So there you go. So when those arrive, I'll show you. Outside of that, what they're supposed to do is give me like a final week tally this weekend sometime. They're going to tally up my week's orders, tell me, how many there were and what I basically made on them. All right. So FYI, like I've already told you guys, I'm going to make a good amount of profits on the sales from the shop. It's not like back when I was with Teespring and I made like $1 or $2 per sale. I actually make a good chunk out of this stuff. So that's good. I mean, it's going to help me as opposed to previously when I had merch, it was just fan service, right? Like I didn't really care. I was like, whatever, we'll every once in a while we'll toss stuff up there or I'll look into it. But this stuff might actually help the business. And I've already been in talks with them about possibly adding new designs and other things based on your feedback. Already, I've given them your feedback, guys. For example, you said you wanted to look into hats. You wanted to look into, like, stickers, stuff like that. You wanted bigger sizes, right? That was one of the big feedback is that could you get bigger than 2XL? So I've given them some of your feedback, and they're already said, okay, thanks. We'll look into this kind of stuff and go from there. So now what I need to do is I need to think on my end, like what kind of other products, not products, but designs would you guys like to see? And I'd like your feedback. Now the shop's been out almost a week. People seem to like it. Products are in process right now. But I need to know what other kinds of logos and things you'd be interested in. Some people have already said Jasper Kitty, but I don't have anything with Jasper Kitty right now. Like I would have to maybe take like a high quality picture of him. In order to have one to create like a logo or have someone create a logo based on him or something like that. But outside of that, the other idea that someone said was a picture of me. Oh, geez. Picture of me holding the final poker chip from the Review Tech React that we did back in August, right? And I think that would be cool. There is a picture of me out there going like this with the crown on, so I look like a king posing with the chip. But no one's really made like a logo or a cartoon or anything out of that a logo could really be made. So those are some ideas. And I'll let you know, FYI, when we work on more stuff. Because, actually, this company has already said, yeah, hey, make more designs. Because, especially with the holidays coming up, people are going to want variety of product. And the more the better. It doesn't cost them anything to list the designs, you see? So, just a good and positive update regarding that. Can't wait to show you guys the mugs and let you know how everything is going once the first week sales are up and we go from there. But please give it a look, darksidephil.shop. And thanks to those who already have placed orders. I really appreciate you guys supporting me. All right, we have some shout outs to do right out of the gates. Let's do some shout outs for contributions to get the ball rolling. Because by the way, last night on the late stream of Dead Rising Deluxe Remastered, we hit the funding goal. And that means that if we hit it again today, the streak resumes. If you guys could bear with me for a second, we've got a stink bug on my on my screen. Gotta get rid of it. Stink bugs are these weird looking bugs. I don't mind them, but the problem is with the stink bug. If they get inside your house, they can let off this pheromone that attracts other bugs. There was this one time that a stink bug came inside my window. They crawled through a crack on the side of my screen, and they were up there, and I killed it because I wanted to get rid of it. And then a million bugs started like flocking to my window. I was like, oh Lord. So now whenever I see a stink bug, I don't kill them anymore. I trap them in like a little Tupperware thing, and I throw them back outside. But this one was just on the screen. I said, flick, and I got him away. Hopefully he doesn't come back. So anyway, what was I saying? I got so distracted. Oh, shout-outs. Let's do some shout-outs because last night we did hit the King's Coffers goal on the late stream, which means if we hit it on today's stream here, we will actually continue the King streak. It'll come back. All right, so let's see what happens. Shout-outs. First of all, Perry the White, gifting 5 memberships to the community, and I appreciate that. A nice early on gift. I'm sure people will enjoy that. Thank you, Perry, for supporting the channel. Really appreciate the community support there. And Pausen re-upping their membership for 32 months in a row, reaching almost the 3-year mark when they will get a new crown, right? I think the 3-year mark is the diamond crown, if I'm not mistaken. So good stuff there. Okay. When it comes to tips, we have some tips here today. Let's take a look, see what we got. All right. All I'm going to say is someone tipped a buck, and they're talking about COG. I'm not going to waste time on this today. I already talked about the guy over the past week. The guy's gotten way than more than enough attention in my content. I have nothing else to say on the matter besides the guy is an obsessed, clingy person desperate for money, which is why he's going to bring me up every single moment he can because my detractors are dumb and keep paying him money to do so. Again, it's exactly what happened with side-scrollers last year. The only reason that he gets any attention is because he's talking about me, and my detractors are unhinged, crazy people who will pay people just to mention me in a negative light. So enjoy your 3-ring circus of life over there with my detractors. I hope you have a good time, and maybe they'll take you out to dinner and, stroke your cock or something for you. But I have nothing to do with that, all right? All right, so thanks for the first dollar tip. And I received a $5 tip. Hold on, because I want to see here. It's from Perry the White. It's a $5 tip, and he says, good morning, King. I'm looking forward to the podcast today. Here's my contribution to the coffers, your humble servant, Perry the White. Well, thank you so much, Perry. I appreciate that. Let's get some... The animation play? Oh, it did. I'm telling you, this website keeps having issues every day. I gotta refresh it because if I don't, like, the animation doesn't play on the page, so I can't tell that it even played on the stream. All right, so thank you, Perry, for the first animation of the day. We got Count Filula. Count Filula. There we go. Thank you so much for getting that momentum going. So up to $6 in tips so far today, and $6 into the King's coffers. Remember, the goal includes super chats, super stickers, and tips. So all of your contributions will be counted in the King's coffers goal. Let's get it to 150 today and get that momentum back. We actually had it last night. Let's keep rolling with it, okay? And by the way, we have around 300 viewers right now and climbing. Let's get some likes on the stream. Looks like we got about 30 or so. Let's get that up to 50 likes. If you're here and you're enjoying the podcast and the chill vibes here on the stream, please give it a like. Helps tons for engagement, brings more people to the channel, and allows this channel to be found in YouTube search. So please do so, and thank you to those who do. Okay, let's get someone to super chat so we can get a top super chatter on the leaderboard, shall we? All right. So, first topic done. Let's move on to my second topic for today, which is going to be the Silent Hill 2 remake, and my schedule now changing as a result. Then after that, I want to talk a little bit about the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, because some people seem to have mixed opinions about it, and I want to share my opinions on that. And then I have a couple of gaming news stories to cover for today. Okay, so big update, everyone, in regards to Silent Hill 2 Remake, which is coming out officially on October 8th, correct? Which is Tuesday. So officially it comes out October 8th. Depending on where you live, you can probably access it the night before, like October 7th at like 9 p.m. Pacific time. You can get it, or midnight Eastern time. And this is when I thought I was going to play it. All right. But then yesterday, someone had mentioned on my stream, they said, "Are you aware that you can play it early?" And I was like, "No." And they're like, "Yeah, they're doing this deal where if you get the deluxe edition, you can play it early." I said, "All right, well, let me look into it." All right. So last night, I had completely forgotten about this all day. And I'm, finishing up work for the day, and I'm laying in bed, right? Look, this always happens to me. So my wife, if she's working, okay, she has to work early. So she gets tired and she falls asleep earlier than me. So I end up staying up like an hour or two after she goes to sleep, just doing random things. Sometimes it's watching videos or a movie. Sometimes it's doing a lot of work, It all depends. Looking for news stories for the next day, contacting people about interviews. It's just the only time of the day I have free to do this stuff. So it just so happens I'm thinking about my week. And I was like, oh yeah, someone had mentioned that you can get this game early, and I wonder if it's true. So I looked into it, and yeah, it's true. If you pay $10 extra, so instead of $69.99, if you spend $10, you play $79.99. All right, you can play the game 2 days early. It actually will unlock for you on Sunday, October 6th. Okay, so looking into this, I was thinking about it. I was like, it's one of these strategies they use to try to make extra money, because they know this is one of the hottest releases of the year at this point. Like, the reviews from Famitsu and other places are coming out, and the reviews are great, and people love Silent Hill, and we haven't had a new Silent Hill in ages. So this is like the talk of the town. It's coming out in October when everyone wants to play a horror game. This is just a really big release at this point. And of course, I know for you guys, it's one of the biggest games of the year for me. You guys have expressed that to me, that you love my horror playthroughs. You're dying to see me play this game, right? So I thought about it. I was like, you know what? All right, I think I'll do it, because I'm already going to get it. If it's only $10 extra, if it means being able to play it a couple days early, and maybe we could get through it on the earlier side so we can focus on the other games of the month, it doesn't get caught up in the other stuff I'm doing, then I think I'm going to do it. I think it makes sense. So I went to do it, and first of all, I had issues because now everything is done through a million different things. Like, can you do it through the website? Technically, yes, but, when you're on your phone, they have a Steam mobile app. So I go to do it through the Steam mobile app. It's giving me problems. Like, I'm trying to log in and verify, and it won't work. I'm like, what the hell is this? So anyway, to make a long story short, after like a wasted 25 minutes of getting everything working so I could log into Steam on my phone, I got it. I got the deluxe edition. But now I'm confused. All right? Now I'm really confused. And the reason that I'm confused is I can't download the game on Steam yet. But I'm seeing people on X say they have already downloaded the game. And I'm like, why? So I was paranoid. I was like, did I get the wrong version? So I actually went and double checked. No, I bought the digital deluxe version. It was $79.99 plus tax. But for some reason, I can't pre-download the game. And it's weird, because if it comes out on Sunday and it's Friday, why can't I pre-download it? Right? So I'm confused about that. I don't know if anyone else has it on Steam. Can you pre-download Silent Hill 2? Because I can't. There's no option to do so. When I open up my Steam here, it says Silent Hill 2 is already in your Steam library. So it's confirmed. Then I go to my library, and it's sitting right there, but there's no download button. There's no, or I guess it's install, right? There's no install button. But people are literally on X posting up screens. Oh, I downloaded it and installed it. So I don't get it. I'm confused. I hope that it's working. I hope I didn't get screwed somehow, because I really want to play this game on Sunday. Now, as long as everything goes fine and I'm playing it on Sunday, which I think it's going to clear itself up and I should be able to play it on Sunday. I can't imagine they're going to try to like rip me off. That'd be pretty stupid, right? So here's the deal. This is going to change my schedule for the whole week. All right. Normally on Sunday is my React day, where I do my DSP versus the Internet clip show on DSP Reacts, my partner channel. And then I do Retro React, a late night stream where I react to my classic playthroughs from yesteryear over on my DSP Throwback channel. And it just so happens that this week I'm starting Silent Hill 1 as my Retro React. Yeah, I'm actually reacting to the original Silent Hill playthrough that I did in 2012, okay? So how cool is that? I'll be playing Silent Hill 2 Remake and reacting to Silent Hill 1. That's cool. It's going to be a really cool horror atmosphere, right? But since this is now coming out on Sunday, I'm going to play this on Sunday. All right? So FYI, this changes the schedule. The React content will now be bumped to Monday. So if you're someone who likes the React shows, attends them and supports them, if you're someone who is a member over on my DSP Reacts channel and you post up your clips for that show, FYI, it's going to be one day later than usual because all day long on Sunday, I'm going to be playing Silent Hill 2. So now let's go through the schedule for the rest of the week so this makes sense to you. So today's schedule is the podcast, Metaphor Refantasio demo, where we're going to get as far as we can. I don't know if we're going to beat the demo today, but that's the main streams. And then on late night stream tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, Friday Night Fights, the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, where I'm going to be playing all the classic Versus games again for the first time in over a week because I was focusing on Street Fighter 6 and the Terry Bogard release. Okay, so excited for that. Tomorrow, we're going to go back to Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster on the first gameplay stream. And then tomorrow night will be WWE Champions, the first weekend event of the Zombies Toxic Rumble. Okay, usually what happens is there's new loot, there's new tours, there's new stuff going on. And so I'm excited for that, and I hope you'll join me for that tomorrow night. That should be good. Sunday now will be Silent Hill 2 Remake all day long. It's going to be 2 full gameplay streams of it, so we'll be 5+ hours into the game by the end of Sunday. On Monday, we'll now take a break from that to do the React content all day Monday. Although, like I said, Monday night, we'll be doing Retro React to Silent Hill 1, so that's going to go right in line with Silent Hill 2. I'll probably try to plug that during the Silent Hill 2 streams. And then on Tuesday, we'll play Silent Hill 2 again all day long. All right, so we'll do Silent Hill 2 all day Sunday, Silent Hill 2 all day Tuesday. Between the 2 days, we'll be 10 hours in. Reports are the game is 16 to 18 hours long. So we're going to be more than halfway into it within the 2 days of me playing it. That's awesome, is it not? So then on Wednesday, we'll probably do more Silent Hill 2 as the day stream. And then on Wednesday night, we'll do more WWE Champions because that'll be my weekly champion stream. And then probably Thursday, we'll do more Silent Hill 2. And Thursday night, we can either do fighting games because I can't do Friday Night Fights because I'm not here Friday, or we could wedge in a stream of Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. The way I see it is we're in no rush to get through Dead Rising because I've already played it. We already know the game. So I'm not like rushing back to it. I've already played a lot of it yesterday, and I'm going to be playing another stream tomorrow. So after already being, 7-8 hours into it, we don't have to rush the ending because at that point, I think we're going to be near the end anyway, right? So I'm way more excited for Silent Hill 2 at this point. I think that should be the focus of the week. So we're going to be playing it Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And get this, chance we might finish it. I don't think we will, to be honest. If it definitely is a longer game, and you know me, with my streams, I'm interacting with you guys, I'm chatting, and we're doing shout-outs and the like. So it's not just me hyper-focused on the game. There's a lot of that kind of interaction, and it takes longer to get through it, correct? But I think it's going to be great. Seriously, I think it's going to be a great week of me balancing horror content with some other content. It should be a great time. I'm very much pumped and excited for Silent Hill 2 this Sunday. So for those who like horror, you are definitely in luck this coming week. All right? Now, I'm just going to say this just in case. Things can change. All right? Right now, like I said, I am in talks with a couple of people. I say a couple. It's actually like about 5. I'm in talks with about 5 different people about possibly doing interviews this month. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I kind of feel like this week is the wrong week to do it because we're so hyped for Silent Hill and everything, right? Like, I think this is the week to focus on the big games, correct? But we'll see what happens because if someone is available and this is the only week they're available, then I might still do it anyway, and we'll just have to figure it out. And of course, like I said, there's possibility I'll be doing other content like crossovers and collabs. I just don't have anything set in stone yet, so I'm not going to even worry about that yet. If something happens and I get updates and something falls in my lap and there's an opportunity, we may have to change the schedule, okay? But the way I see it, it just makes sense to play Silent Hill 2 as soon as possible, because that way if something does change with the weekly schedule, at least I've already played Silent Hill 2 a bunch, right? There you go. Okay, so that's what's happening this week with the schedule. I hope that sounds good to everyone. I just hope that I can download the game. I'm waiting for it to appear as a pre-download, and they won't let me install the dang thing. So as soon as they let me, I'll get it on my PC, and we'll be set to go for Sunday, which I'm very pumped for now, okay? Cool. At the Gamer says you're making a great decision. This is what people mean when they say alter your schedule. Yeah, why wouldn't I? If this is, listen, it's $10 extra. All right. It's not like I'm breaking the bank paying a bunch more money. And unlike with Starfield, where I paid extra to play it early and the game sucked ass, this is a game that everyone is excited for. We already know the plot is great. People have reviewed it and said it's good, and we're all excited. It's the perfect time of year for it, right? This is the kind of game I think makes sense if you can do it, to pay a little bit of extra money to play it a few days early, especially me being a content creator, being able to stream it 2 days early is a big thing, right? So there you go. Goldfish says, will you play the Starfield DLC that came out? If you guys aren't aware, okay, the Starfield DLC came out. You may not be aware because you'd be like, wait, it did? Yeah, literally no one's talking about it. No one's playing it. It's actually dead on arrival. People who reviewed it have reviewed it very poorly, saying it's boring. It's the same as the base game. Yeah, there's a few, fancy visuals here or there, but for the most part, it might as well never have come out. The game, is an utter failure. So that's sad, because I was actually thinking maybe this would be their chance to fix the problems and the shortcomings the original game had. No, not at all. It's been out for days. It came out like 4 or 5 days ago, and no one is talking about it, because I was wondering, there's nothing on social media. There's no articles about it anywhere. I'm like, what happened with this DLC? It's just that bad. No one cares. No one is talking about this in the gaming community. I mean, that's pathetic. So, people are even talking about it now. Yeah, look, Double M just says, I forgot I even paid for it. He has it and he didn't play it. Same with me. Like, I got that deluxe edition or whatever last year to play that game early, and that was just stupid. Like, it didn't get me anywhere. With Silent Hill 2, I think we're going to have a distinct benefit being able to play it on the earlier side. So, anyway, there you go. So that's the week's schedule. That's what's going on this week. I hope that sounds good to you guys. I'm now very pumped for Silent Hill on Sunday. Being able to play it a couple days early is excellent. And I actually now, here's the cool thing about this. To have that react day in between, but then to be reacting to Silent Hill 1 on Monday night is so cool. Play Silent Hill 2 all day Sunday, react to my original playthrough of Silent Hill 1 on Monday, then back to Silent Hill 2 on Tuesday. That's neat. I'm very excited. Ellipsian says, I'm actually playing the Starfield DLC. It's all right. There's just nothing special. Exactly. Like, isn't that exactly how you describe Starfield? It's okay. There's nothing special there. Dude, this is supposed to be the new IP that was going to save Bethesda because they've been working on it for so long, because Fallout hasn't had anything new or good in ages, and Elder Scrolls, we have no information about. This was supposed to be the big one, and they completely fucked it up. I can't believe they spent that amount of time and money and just dropped a big nothing burger that no one cares about, and here we are a year later, and still no one cares about it. Pretty bad. Okay, Sarah says, I thought you were thinking of dropping the DSP throwback streams. We're going to keep doing them for October because I want to react to Silent Hill 1. So basically, once we finish reacting to Silent Hill 1, which should take us all of October, then we're going to reassess how things are going on DSP throwback, okay? If there's still interest, if people are liking the streams, if people support the streams, then I'll keep doing them. But if I've noticed a distinct drop-off in interest and support for it, then we won't do it all the time. Maybe we'll do it every couple of months, every few months we'll do a special playthrough. But we just don't have to do it every Sunday night if there's not interest. And like last week for Resident Evil Director's Cut, I didn't even have 200 viewers. So, I mean, that shows that the interest has definitely, declined, right? Okay, so a few more shout outs to do, and then we're going to get to the next news story. Well, not really news story. The next topic, I want to talk about Dead Rising Deluxe Remastered, which I played all day yesterday, and I want to give you my initial thoughts because I feel like there's a lot of positives, but at the same time, for fans of Dead Rising, there may be some big negatives, and I think that we should bring them all up to be fair, okay? Okay, a couple shout outs here. Someone named Black Air Force One Sentinel, which I don't know what that means, tipped $1 and says, do you like pumpkin-flavored food or drinks? For some extent, I do. Like pumpkin-flavored pastries or bread and stuff like that is pretty good. And yeah, you get like a pumpkin spice latte or a pumpkin drink or something. That could be pretty good. I'm not one of these people that likes everything pumpkin. I don't go crazy now that it's fall and say, I want pumpkin cereal, and I want, pumpkin this and pumpkin that. I want pumpkin in everything I eat. There are some people that go crazy like that. Not me. I do like it though. I think that it's fun, it's seasonal, it's something nice. Kind of like around Christmas time, you want like cinnamon and a lot of stuff, right? Like think of like cinnamon or mint or stuff like that for Christmassy stuff. Peppermint, right? I think pumpkin around now. And perfect time, man. It's like I said, it's that perfect autumn weather outside today. We got some rain coming down. It's perfect. This is like, man, if I had pumpkin spice right now, I'd have a pumpkin spice latte. It'd be great. Pumpkin spice Jordan 1s. There you go. Scratch and sniff sneakers, right? For the season. Okay. I received a $3 tip from Super Snow Carl Turbo HD Remix. You see, Keem got wings to shave off his eyebrows and beard. How much do we need to pay you to have a hairless head? All I'm going to say is, in reaction to that, do you guys understand why I am not on the Lol Cow live show? You get it, right? Like, you understand. Like, I can make a living doing what I love, and I don't have to be doing these stunts. I don't have to be buried alive. I don't have to have my hair and eyebrows shaved off. You see, I can just be like normal Phil and still make a good living and have a good life. You understand? That's what I mean. Like, I didn't need to be on that show. They did. I don't. I have good stuff going for me. They didn't, and that's why they were desperate and jumped on the show like they did. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's not me slamming those guys. It's just being honest. Like, I don't need to be in a show where I'm constantly having horrible things happen to me, doing stunts and pranks. You know, that's not the content that I want to put out, nor is it the content that I need to put out. I have good content to put out, right? People want to do content with me. People want to appear on my show. People want me to be a part of their shows. I don't need to be doing the crazy stuff. So there you go. All right. So now I think people really, now that the show's been out for a year, people are understanding where I was coming from back 2 years ago or whatever when I said, no Keem, no thanks, right? In reality, I didn't say no Keem, no thanks. I didn't say anything because we never actually talked about it. But anyway, let's continue, shall we? The next topic I want to talk about is Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, which I played yesterday, okay? In fact, you know what? That's not it. This is it. Let's set up the Dead Rising animations for while I'm talking about this topic, okay? So they should be playing now. So, yesterday, all day long on both gameplay streams, I played Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster here on DSPGaming. So I got in about 4.5 hours of gameplay. Would have liked to get more in. Excuse me. But we were having some problems when I first booted it up. And we should bring this up. On PC, this game has an odd optimization thing. So when you boot it up, just like everything, it gives you a million options, right? And I picked all the options. It was supposed to be running at 120 frames and everything. And then it starts booting the intro, you know, cutscenes and everything. And it's running at less than 30 frames per second. And the audio is popping in and out. And I'm like, what is going on? So apparently the game just has some issues. I had to change the audio options to make it be like TV speakers or something, which I never use. I've literally never selected TV speakers on any game I've ever played. But for some reason, I had to. And I had to turn off this weird feature that the game has that was called like NVIDIA input reduction feature. And basically what it claims is that it's supposed to make it that you don't have any input delay when you press any button or input on the controller. But it made the whole game run at like 20 frames per second. So I turn it off. Immediately the game is running at 120 frames per second. And there's no input delay anyway. So I was like, so why does this feature exist? If the game doesn't have the input delay, why did they have this feature in the game? It's bizarre. Like, why is it there? Anyway, once we got the game rolling, okay, here's the distinct differences between classic Dead Rising and this modern deluxe remaster. Okay, number one, the graphics. Frame rate is much higher, especially if you have a good rig like mine. The character models have been redesigned, okay? Same animations and all of that, but the character models have been redesigned from the ground up. They look very different. Faces particularly have been redesigned, especially on the psychopaths. Like a lot of the psychopaths used to look kind of like weird or like maybe even like undertailed. Now they're just creepily realistic. Like when I fought Adam the Clown, his face is all contorting and everything when he's talking. I'm like, oh God. It's like photorealistic, scary shit. And the other psychopaths too. Like I fought that Hatchet Man in the hardware store, and he just looks so different from the original game. In the original game, he just looked like a generic guy. Here, he kind of looks like a grizzled POW style guy, you know, guy who's been through shit. And they did a good job with that. Like now, the characters seem like they have better personality. Well, not they have more personality because they look real. Let's put it that way. In the original game, it didn't have that level of detail. And it was like, oh, you're supposed to take this seriously, but then they look like a, you know, not very serious, like a low rendered person. But now it looks better. So I definitely like the improvements. They even have like skin detail and stuff. You can see like freckles on them and everything. So it's like they look like real people now. In regards to, you know, music and stuff like that, it's pretty much all the same. Now the game does have a streamer mode. So luckily I turned it on. I don't know if I'm missing out on any of the classic tunes of the game that may have been copyright stricken, but I'm glad that it had a streamer mode for that. In regards to gameplay, all right, many different changes that I'm noticing. First of all, it just seems to me like Frank is faster from the get-go. Maybe I'm mistaken, but it just seems to me like Frank moves faster in general than he did in the original game. Maybe I'm wrong there, but in the original game, he's slow. And in this one, he just seems faster right from the get-go. In regards to fighting and evasion, the fighting's almost the same. And what I mean by that is it's frustrating because these zombies can lunge at you and you'll be in mid-animation to hit them, and then they just interrupt your animation and grab you anyway, and you're like, ah, oh, come on. You know, it kind of feels a little outdated in that regard, but that's accurate to the original game. But one of the things I definitely noticed that's different, if you are escorting someone across the map, one of the survivors, for example, maybe one of them has an injured foot, so you have to put them on your back or, you know, put them on your shoulder and you're walking across the ground with them. The zombies will basically like slide off of you as if you're covered in grease. Like they'll try to grab you and they go like zoop and fall and don't really grab you. Like there was very rarely when I was trying to escort anyone was a zombie actually able to hinder my progress moving forward. So that's definitely something they've improved to make it easier. Another thing is the AI for the survivors isn't as brain dead as it used to be. There used to be certain survivors that would literally just walk right into trouble and just die. And you had to like babysit them in order to get them to survive. Now you can just kind of mash the follow me button and they will follow you for the most part, and they'll disengage from the zombies that are around them and try to follow you. Now it doesn't always work. You're still going to have some stragglers in the game that are kind of annoying. And particularly, I lost a survivor last night. His plot is that he's a complete coward. So he freezes up and doesn't follow you properly, and he died on me. And there's a big gory animation for it, too. I was like, oh, man, that's messed up. So it's not all easy, but they have significantly improved that part. Now, some of the biggest changes, okay, definitely involves the control scheme for combat. Previously, the controls of this game felt like it was its own universe. Like, I don't think when I played Dead Rising 1, I don't think I'd ever played any game that controlled like this before. And I'm not saying that's bad, but man, there's a learning curve. And for you to actually do anything fast in this game was very difficult. Like, for example, there's some situations where you have to shoot things quickly. Good luck. Like, seriously, good luck doing any shooting quickly, because it was like a cumbersome fumbling of controls to try to get Frank to draw the weapon, aim the weapon, actually ready the weapon, and fire. It took like a while, okay? Now, the game controls much like a third-person shooter. The only exception there, I would say, to zoom in, you still have to use the D-pad up and down. It's not like you can like double-click or whatever and it'll zoom in automatically. Like in Call of Duty, it's the thumbstick. Not in this. This you got to zoom up and down with like the D-pad, right? But it controls way more smoothly. So, for example, there's two fights that stand out in my mind, and both of them are against the guy Carlito, where he's shooting down from a balcony in the food court, or later on, he's sniping you from the top floor of the mall. It used to be really effing hard to beat him. Like, really significantly hard. Now, you can easily aim and fire on this guy, and it's not a big deal. I personally don't know if they increased the damage output for guns, But it seems to me like they did. Like, I remember some of these psychopaths being very tank-like, and now they take big chunks of health go away with shots. So maybe they did change it to make it easier in that regard too, but I can't confirm or deny. I can just tell you what it feels like. It does feel like they've done that down a little bit too. So, and then, okay, the biggest change, in my opinion, okay, checkpoints. Auto-save checkpoints throughout the game at critical moments. So I'll give you an example. At one point, I was walking across the mall with like 4 survivors with me. The only way to get from where I was to the place where the elevator was to get them to safety, we had to go through the central courtyard. I had forgotten that there were psychopaths out there. So I walk out and, oh no, the cutscene for the prisoner's psychopath starts. As soon as the cutscene ends, they drive straight towards me. I get shot. As I'm getting up, a zombie grabs me. I shake that zombie off. Another zombie immediately grabs me and I'm dead. Now, if this had been the original Dead Rising, not this new remaster, I would have had to start back at a save room, which at that point had been significantly earlier. I would have had to replay a tremendous amount of gameplay, and that would have really pissed me off. In fact, I remember in my original run of this game 8 years ago, it did piss me off. I was very upset that during that remaster on PS4, they had not added those you know what I'm saying? Those changes at all, and you had to load. So in this case, it just started me right back at the door, did the psychopath cutscene again, and I was able to try it again. And on the second try, I dodged them. I pulled out my shotgun. I blew them all away, and I beat them. And I was okay. You see, it was much better. There was another time. Now this really would have angered me. So I entered the supermarket, and the psychopath boss fight ensues. I'm in the middle of the psychopath boss fight, and the game crashes. I even get a big pop-up error screen, send this info to Capcom for research and stuff, right? I'm like, oh no, don't tell me, because I was halfway through the fight, and I had restocked all my weapons and stuff before going to the fight. I'm like, dude, don't tell me I have to redo all of that. No, I rebooted the game, and it just restarted the fight right at the door, where I could, go right to the boss fight, and I was like, wow, this is a significant improvement from how inferior the game played previously, with having you to redo all that gameplay from a save point, as if it was Resident Evil or something. So here's the thing, okay? All of these improvements, better controls for guns, and, Miss Sparkles actually just did a $2 super chat. Thanks for being the first super chatter of the day. And she says, also remember the improved controls for the camera. Yeah, the camera as well is just much easier to control and get fast shots, because remember, one of the key gameplay elements and mechanics in the game is taking pictures quickly during certain events going on, like someone's posing or an enemy is doing a certain animation. You have to quickly go zoop and take the picture and then go down. And so previously in the original game, you'd try to take a picture and it would be like a nightmare to fumble this thing around and actually get the game to give you credit for what you were trying to take the picture of. It'd be like, oh, you're slightly off center and shit. In this one, it just kind of works all the time. They definitely eased up the picture taking, right? So in this regard, what do you mean that's not what she said? She said, do you notice the changes in taking pictures? Yeah, that it's improved. That's what I just said, didn't I? I didn't read word for word what she said. I was paraphrasing. She's basically insinuating that the pictures are easier to take now, right? That's what we were just talking about. Okay. So anyway, all these improvements. So easier picture taking, much easier gun handling, zombies not being as annoying when grabbing you when you're escorting people and or when they're constantly following you, okay? The auto save checkpoint system, right? So all of that are big, huge improvements to the game. However, there is a wrinkle to this, all right? Yesterday, I played this game for 4.5 hours, right? Currently, I've saved all but like 2 survivors. One I didn't even find in the mall. I didn't have a mission for them, and they just died. And the other was the coward guy who I tried to save, and he died because he's an idiot, and he walked right into the enemies. So, in that regard, I've almost rescued everyone I've encountered. I fought and easily defeated all the psychopaths. I just want to emphasize that. Easily defeated. Even Adam, who's infamously one of the harder psychopaths in the game, now that you can control the game better, he's just not that hard to fight. What I did, because, you know, he's infamously, like, agile. He flies all over the screen. I ended up, like, getting him behind one of, like, the bouncy house things down in the playland, and he just really couldn't move, and I just wailed on him with, I don't know if it was the katana or, like, a hunting knife. I just kept wailing on him with it, and we traded blows and stuff, but I had brought a bunch of healing to the fight, so I was able to just beat him like that without much problem. So that's what I mean, like, this game, Dead Rising, the original game, was infamously known for its difficulty in your first run, when you're not leveled up, when you don't know where all the good weapons are, when you don't know the easy way to save all of the different survivors, right? And when you don't know when the boss fights are going to happen, or how to encounter, you know, where are the best weapons to be at the boss fights, where's the best healing at. If you don't know all of that, this game is infamously difficult, okay? And now the fact that the gunplay used to be difficult. There was no autosave checkpoint. So basically, every time you died, you had to redo a bunch of gameplay. That was part of the element of the game. It became this game that was infamously difficult. And it was like, man, that kind of goes in hand with what would be if it was a real zombie apocalypse, right? Now, the whole idea, though, of the game is that you're supposed to play it multiple times. That your first run's hard, but then you get all these levels. You know where everything is in the game. So when you do your second run, this is the real run. This is the one where you're turboing through the mall because you're fast. You go right to the good items. You start saving the survivors. You have extra time to do everything because you're so dang fast, right? Like, that's the idea. That's what the intention. First run, challenging, difficult, grueling. Second run, way easier. With this deluxe remaster, the first run isn't even that tough at all. Like, I'm really not having problems. In 4.5 hours of playing, I'm about halfway through the game. That's way more progress than I did in my original run 8 years ago. And we may in 1 to 2 more streams beat it. So this may be an 8 to 10 hour playthrough of a game that actually usually would take you much longer in your first run because you don't know what you're doing, right? So, yeah, like, for me, it's a mixed bag. For me, here's the thing. Since I played the original, and I have experienced the difficulty level of the original, okay? I don't feel like playing this deluxe remaster is missing out. I feel like it's all right. It's changed for the good, and that's fine. It doesn't all have to be overly difficult, right? But here's the thing. If you've never played Dead Rising before, and all you're playing is the deluxe remaster, you're not getting the actual experience that the game devs had intended. Your first run is not that challenging, and therefore you may not want to even do a second run, but that was the intention of the game designers. The second run's the real one, right? So that's a little bit disappointing. You might buy this game for $50, expecting it to be this lengthy experience that you've heard so much about, and then you just turbo right through it and you beat it in 10 hours. Like, what happened here? I thought it was hard. It's not. They've changed it. They tweaked it, and the improvements now make it very easy. It's not me playing this game in a great way. It's not. Yes, to some of that extent, I knew where the gun shop was. I knew where the weapon shop was, and I remembered the supermarket. So because of that, I'm able to get the 3 big things in the game you need that are easy to make you survive, right? But outside of that, it's not like I'm some master level player here, and I'm a master, zombie dodger and everything. No, it's just the game is that easy now, okay? So, that's a double-edged sword for some people. I saw just this morning in chat, as we were talking, someone was expressing their big disappointment with the game, saying they were seeing me play it for the first few hours. They looked good. They bought it. They went to play it themselves, and it was so piss easy, they returned it right away. They just didn't want to go through a super easy game. Yeah, I hate to say it. I do feel like they've changed the nature of the game with this remaster. And I think that might be something that we have to be careful about moving forward. If we're going to take games and remaster them, and you add quality of life improvements, does that quality of life improvement actually change the initial intentions of what the game devs had wanted to begin your first run, right? Imagine if in Dark Souls, right, that they made quality of life improvements, right? Maybe you don't just die instantly. You have one chance to do a quick time event and you revive and you can continue on. Can you imagine how different the game would play if you had that chance, right? So many nail biter runs aren't really nail biters anymore because you always can come back once after when you're about to die. And it's quality of life. Yeah, but it completely changed the design of the game from what the game developers had intended. So is it a good quality of life improvement? I may be of the impression that a lot of these quality of life improvements have made the game too easy. So maybe they should have tweaked it further. Maybe bosses should have had more health. The one thing that I think that makes sense is the autosaves. That's just a no-brainer because no one should be limited to, oh, I didn't find the save room or whatever. I do think it's really stupid to require you to go to a save room like that in modern times. But outside of that, I guess you can argue between, you know, the two, the other quality of life changes, whether you wanted them or not. So, you know, there you go. Some people will like it. I think some people won't. Personally, I am liking it, but I think that's because I already played it. So I know what the original game is, and I can call out these differences. I probably would be disappointed if this was my first run and it was way easier. Like, remember everyone was saying that Radon, by the time that I got to Radon in Elden Ring, my first run, that they'd already nerfed the boss. And therefore, if you killed Radon, after that initial version of him, you were fighting such a watered-down version that it wasn't the original intended experience, and it just made it too easy, and then you weren't seeing how grueling it was for a lot of people at first. I can't confirm or deny that. I got to Radon when I did, and I don't know if it was easier or harder, but that's kind of, you know, disappointing to know you didn't get to get the same experience as everybody else. So what I would say is this. If you've never played Dead Rising before, you may actually want to play the original first, whether it's the Xbox 360 version or the remake from 8 years ago. That still had the same difficulty level, okay? And then once you've already played that, maybe then you want to play this remake, so that way you're not skimping out on the original difficulty that was intended. That's up to you, right? You can always make that decision for yourself. But for me, it's like, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like, I like the improvements, but I agree, I'm kind of turboing through the game. And I think a lot of the appeal of this game was always the difficulty. And now, in regards to, hold on one second. In regards to this game, am I now going to have no one really interested in it because it's too easy, right? Like, and I'm thinking about that. I'm like, yeah, it might be a situation where people just think it's too easy. And when they come to tune in for the third stream coming up this week, they're not going to care that much. I don't know. I guess we'll find out because that's tomorrow, right? But yeah, you know, this again, as if you were playing a FromSoft game, but it was easy. An easy FromSoft game, it shouldn't exist. That's not the, you know, it kind of undermines the whole premise, right? So anyway, so that's my thoughts on Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. So far, I'm turboing through it, having a good time with it, but at the same time, it's definitely easy. And we'll see tomorrow when I play it again on the daytime stream how that goes. Okay? Excellent. Okay, everyone, so we have 2 gaming news stories that I would like to discuss today. They're not really related, but maybe they are. All right, so let's talk about these stories, shall we? So, story number 1, if I can find it, is regarding Ubisoft. That's right. You know, that company run by Yves Guillemot, who recently released their first quadruple A game in Skull and Bones, which flopped miserably. And, oh, by the way, my background did not just update. I start playing the background in it. There. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so, basically, Ubisoft, constant underperformance this year. First, the flop of Skull and Bones. Then, the recent flop this last summer of Star Wars Outlaws. For those who don't know, Star Wars Outlaws massively undersold. Did not get anywhere near the expectations that Ubisoft had for it. Just a complete 2 thumbs down flop. And it did horribly. So these were games that they were kind of like banking on and hoping that they were going to do well. And they both did not. So what they did is they actually delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows, which was supposed to release this fall, along with the big gaming season, right? All the hot games. They were expecting that the game was going to do well. But instead, it completely, you know, was getting panned by everyone. You had basically the entire country of Japan calling them a bunch of disingenuous people for lying about Japanese history with the character of Yasuke, right? And then you had other people saying, yeah, it doesn't look that good or whatever. So, all these games that they're banking on, and it doesn't look like they're going to do well, so they delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows to like February of next year. So, this is oh, again, this is a rumor. This is not necessarily 100% true. But there's rumblings in the industry that the Guillemot family, because the Yves Guillemot and his family are basically the owners of Ubisoft, they're looking to sell. They want to sell the company, right? And of all people, the company that they're looking to sell to is Tencent, the Chinese-run gaming company. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, let me put it this way. I've told you guys for the last decade, I don't think there's been one correct management decision by Yves Guillemot. I don't think that he knows what the hell he's doing with his company. I think he's out of touch with modern gamers and gaming in general. So he just keeps making bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. And it's now come to the point he's made so many bad decisions that he doesn't think he can right the ship anymore. Honestly, I think that's a good thing. I think that he does need to step down, to be quite honest. All right, sorry everyone, I got distracted. There were some zombies in my house. I had to go take care of them. But anyway, so we've all been saying for the last decade that Yves Guillemot has not been doing a good job of running this company. He keeps making bad decisions. I mean, think about this. His biggest franchise, Assassin's Creed, he runs it into the ground, then decides the best thing we should do is copy our competitors of Witcher 3, and for the greater part of 6+ years, makes the entire franchise just copy Witcher. Then says, oh, wait, that's not working anymore. Let's go back to the old formula. Now nothing works, right? Because now Assassin's Creed has completely lost his identity, right? It just doesn't have an identity anymore. It had one a long time ago, but now you've got Ghost of Tsushima doing it better. So, yeah, it's pretty sad. Like, if you really think about Ubisoft, at one point they were synonymous with big IPs and gaming greatness, right? Like, you would think Assassin's Creed, Rayman. Now when you hear Ubisoft, like, what do you even think of? Do you even think of, like, a single franchise that's like, oh, yeah, that big franchise that Ubisoft does that everyone likes? No, and that's a shame because they had that. They totally had that, and they squandered it, right? For sure. Yeah, whatever happened to Beyond Good and Evil? Oh, boy. Don't get started with that one. So anyway, am I shocked to hear that they're looking to sell? Well, yes and no. No, because they're doing poorly, but I thought if you have someone in charge who doesn't know what they're doing, just get them out of there and get someone there who knows how to run a company, right? You can hire someone else to man the ship. You don't have to sell the ship, right? Like, that's it. Like, well, we don't know how to run it, so we're going to sell it instead. Well, why don't you just hire someone who knows what they're doing so that your company can be successful again instead of just giving up? That's what it feels like. When you hear this news, you're like, so they're basically throwing the towel in. They've given up on being able to do anything of intelligence or, wisdom. Fuck it. Just sell it and make a big profit and run. And I hate to say it, but that basically means they don't give a shit. They never gave a shit about their company, about the products they sold. They were just trying to make money. And maybe that's the reason why Ubisoft has been so bad in the last 10 years, is because instead of trying to make good games that are meaningful to the gaming community, that are making unique cultural experiences that everyone talks about and wants to share, instead they're trying to make money printing ventures to line their pockets. And since they can't do that successfully anymore, now they're going to ditch their company, right? That's pretty fucking sad, to be honest. So in regards to this, I don't know how I feel because I'm not exactly sure that we're going to have a situation where selling this to Tencent's going to do any better. And quite frankly, whenever you see a big sale like this happens, you want to know what really happens? People get laid off. People lose their jobs. And these people are busting their butts, trying to make good games, right? And now they're going to lose their jobs because the people in charge made bad decisions. I want you to think about that. Again, we've talked about this endlessly here on the Level 1 podcast. Big person in charge of a big company makes a terrible decision. Who suffers for it? Is it the person at the top who made the bad decision, or is it everyone underneath? It's always everyone underneath, and I just don't fucking understand that. I want someone to explain to me how it makes sense that someone is directly in charge of a company, makes awful decision after awful decision, tanks the company, and they get out of there rich, and everyone below them loses their job. How the fuck does that work? Even if you are rich, right? How does that make sense? I understand that there's like this upper echelon of people who want to remain in power, but how does it make sense if someone has failed miserably as a leader? Why would you want to protect them? Right? Trial by fire, baby. You had your chance. And if you couldn't stand the heat, get the fuck out of the kitchen and let someone else step up to do it. But don't punish the people below. You should be the one who has the consequences. Why are they going to allow these people who have run their company into the ground now for 10 years to go away with their golden parachutes and everyone else underneath will suffer? I just don't understand it. Really, I don't get it. I don't understand this is how the corporate way. It sounds to me like what's happened is there's an upper part of our human society who are so rich, they are protected from any consequences whatsoever for their entire lives. They can commit crimes. They can do horrible things running businesses. They could do heinous actions that are behind the scenes that you don't know about, or they could even be public. And it doesn't matter what they do, they always get away with it because they're rich. No repercussions. On to the next big venture where they also have no repercussions of. I just don't understand this. I don't get how we even allowed this at all. I'm very confused how we created a society where we have this upper crust protected class of people who can do whatever the fuck they want. Why? Why do we allow that? And when are we going to stop it? Right? Anyway, so it's a sad story. It's a rumor. Nothing's going through yet, but the rumor is that there's serious talks about it. And yeah, I can tell you right now, here's what'll happen. They'll get sold. Half the divisions will be closed. Probably thousands of employees will lose their jobs. They'll probably consolidate a lot of work into other existing Tencent studios or, split the work up differently. You know what I'm saying? And probably what'll happen is a lot of these IPs will go away. No lie. Like, forget Watch Dogs will never come back. Rayman will probably be sold. I wouldn't even be surprised if Tencent buys them. They might just sell a lot of their IPs off to other companies. That I would not be shocked at. Imagine that. Take some of these dead IPs that have been on the shelf for a while and just start selling them off in different directions so that way they can make profits. That wouldn't be shocking to me at all. So I guess we'll see what happens. It's a sad story from a company that used to be genuinely one of the biggest companies in gaming. I remember when I started on YouTube, Ubisoft was at the tippity top and we're on an upward trend. Again, they had Assassin's Creed. They had the Splinter Cell series. They had, is Tom Clancy under Ubisoft? I don't remember. But I know Splinter Cell was. I know Assassin's Creed was. Rayman was. And then they announced Watch Dogs, and that was huge. So they had like 4 or 5 big-ass IPs. I'm being told, yes, Splinter Cell's under there too. I mean, not Splinter Cell, excuse me, Tom Clancy. So Tom Clancy games at one point, right, were humongous. They were coming out with 1 million Tom Clancy games, and what happened to those, right? Literally everything they've done has been a failure for the last 10 years. Can you name one success, one big crushing success for Ubisoft in the last 10 years? I can't even think of a single one. Yeah, exactly. So 672 says it's concerning patterns for the top gaming companies who used to be Bethesda, Ubisoft, EA, Bungie. Sarah says, have you noticed most of the big developers are now struggling? Yes. I think what it is that gaming culture has changed. Gaming culture has exploded in the last decade. We've gone from it being a very more niche thing to a more accepted thing to a more mainstream thing to a huge, very popular thing. And when it becomes that big, now you have so much competition. Now you have so much eyeballs on the industry, right? Like now, for example, Skull and Bones. Previously, a game like that might have gone under the radar, come out, and no one would have said a word about it. But instead, because now we have so many eyes on this industry, we had people who all along were following the game and its foibles of development and all the things that went wrong. And then when it came out laughing and Yves Guillemot saying it's quadruple A, previously no one would have cared about that quote. Today, everyone fucking blows this guy up and like, you asshole, saying dumb shit like that, right? It's just a different time now. It is. It's completely different from how it used to be. Games a decade ago or more that were considered hits today might release and become huge flops and failures. Just being honest. So, I guess we will see what happens with Ubisoft moving forward. Pretty sad. I received. Here's a troll. Just ignore them. Okay, never mind. I didn't receive anything. It was a moron. Okay, our next news story. This is actually our last news story of the day. Is actually a positive one, a crazy positive one. And the hilarious part about this story, about FromSoft, is because directly juxtaposed with the story we just did that Ubisoft is failing and is looking to sell to Tencent. Here's, on the flip side of that, here is FromSoft. From Software announces they are increasing base employee salaries by 11.8% in April of 2025. The starting salary will go from 260K to 300K yen monthly. We're working towards stable income and a rewarding work environment where our employees can apply themselves to development, right? Wait a minute. I don't understand. I'm very confused. When I'm listening to all the other game developers, they keep saying the industry's in a downward spiral, right? Oversaturation, over expectation from the gamers. No one's satisfied with games anymore. It doesn't matter what they say and do or what they try to make. Their games just aren't selling anymore. They're the disaster, doom and gloom. The sky is falling. End of the world. Bad times. We got to get out of this industry. We got to sell. Microsoft says we're not even going to care about consoles anymore. We're just going to try to put everything out there on the cloud. You know, Ubisoft wants to sell to Tencent. Everyone's crying, right? Oh, it's a terrible industry. Awful. Then why is FromSoft succeeding, winning, and increasing their salaries? Right? So what's the direct difference between FromSoft and everyone else? Right? We should think about this. Well, number one, does FromSoft pump out slop? Have you ever played a FromSoft title that felt rushed, felt like it didn't have that awesome control and attention put towards it, right? Do you ever play a FromSoft game and you're like, man, this was just a cash grab? You could tell they just pumped this fucker out to print some money, right? Did you ever play a game like that from FromSoft? I don't recall one, right? Did you ever see annual releases from FromSoft to the point where there's so many games coming out that it's hard to care about them all because it just feels like they just phoned it in rather than made a whole new game, right? Even the games that FromSoft make that people don't absolutely love are still good. For example, Armored Core 6 last year, right? People didn't universally praise it, but in general, people still liked it. I have never played an Armored Core game before. I liked it. I wasn't in love with it. It wasn't my game of the year contender, but I still really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good outing and it was worth my money, right? But that's the difference between FromSoft and everybody else. Everyone else said, we need to make money. We have to figure out how to make money first. Then we worry about the actual products we're pumping out, the quality, the cultural relevance, everything. But the money has to come. With FromSoft, every time they sit down, they say, we got to think of a really great game concept, right? And yes, a lot of their games have very similar concepts or shared concepts, but they want to make sure that what they're putting out is something relevant, something good, and something that their core audience is asking for, right? You had Elden Ring, big-ass game, add some new content in there, expands upon the formula that previously existed in FromSoft, namely Dark Souls, give the people what they want, and give them a hell of a lot of it. People couldn't believe the amount of content that was in Elden Ring. Now, personally, I was critical. I did feel like a lot of it felt like it was too reused and padded. But still, the quality and the quantity was there. All right. Then you wait 2 years. And then finally, the expansion comes out. It's huge. It's valuable. It has new kinds of weapons, new kinds of bosses, reimagines parts of the game, new lore added. It's something everyone wanted. Did From Software, 6 months after Elden Ring, pump out a DLC pack that just added some skins and weapons and that was it? Did From Software have some kind of a subscription-based plan for Elden Ring where you would pay them monthly for season pass content? Right? Did they pump out 5 games within 2 years so it's oversaturated the market so much that no one cared about the next FromSoft game? I mean, here's the thing, is that these practices aren't rocket science. They're just not considered modern, right? The modern practice of get me that season pass, get me that games as a service model, get me 1 million DLCs, get me the rush game, that's relatively new. This didn't even exist until 5-10 years ago, because now the internet can support it, can support that level of distribution of digital content so frequently. Before that happened, these game developers had to work hard because they knew that what they were selling you was a retail disc, because now that's pretty much gone away, but they were selling you a retail disc. This was your product. You were going home with it, and you were going to have to be happy with it because you weren't going to get anything else for a long time, right? So they had to be sure that product was polished, that that product was good quality. You know, it had to hit on all levels to try to get good review scores, get the word of mouth out there, and people would then buy the game. Today, because everything's instant digital gratification, these game developers have felt like they don't have to work like that anymore. Oh, pump out that piece of shit. Who cares if it works at launch? We'll just patch it after the fact. Just push it out so we get the initial pre-sales. Dude, how fucking hard do game companies ask for pre-sales now, right? Like every day. Be sure to pre-order. Be sure to pre-order. Get the hell out of here. What do you get for pre-ordering a game? Nothing. There are no physical copies anymore, or very few. Everyone gets it digital. Why would you ever pre-order a digital game? It's so confusing. But again, it benefits them, right? Oh man. Anyway, the way that I see it here is more companies need to look at what has worked in the last 10 to 15 years. Don't just look at the last 5 years. Because the problem is these companies are looking at the kind of exceptions to the rule. They're looking at GTA Online. They're looking at Fortnite, right? They're looking at these games that were kind of the exception. Even Epic Games didn't think Fortnite was going to be a big success. It was supposed to be a tower defense game. It wasn't until they jumped on the trend real fast and changed it around to be a battle royale game that it actually caught on with a kid-friendly audience, right? So these are not things to be taken as, here is your example of what to do to be successful. Instead, they have to go back to look at the tried and true successes, the companies that, you know, have big track records of why are they known as some of the biggest companies. Take a look exactly what FromSoft is doing. Only release a game every 2 to 3 years. Make sure that that game is polished and full of content. Give the people what they want, including the fan service that they're craving, right? Then don't shove content down the throat. Don't nickel and dime the customer. Instead, give them, meaningful expansions after the fact to hold them over until the next big FromSoft release comes out. I mean, right now, just think about how crazy this is. We know FromSoft is making a new game right now, correct? They're not just sitting there with their thumbs up their butts. They're making a new game. What game is it? We don't even know. We have no clue what they're cooking. Is it more Elden Ring? Is it Dark Souls? Is it Bloodborne? Is it Sekiro? Is it a totally new game franchise? We have no clue. But you know what? We don't need to know because they have a great track record. So it doesn't matter what they're making. People are still going to want to buy it and play it. Ubisoft, Bungie, Xbox, right? They've lost their name notoriety. EA, oh my God. EA, they have lost the ability that people will trust every game they put out because they pushed out too much slop for profit. They nickel and dimed too much. They got too greedy, right? They kept going for more. And when they did that, public trust degraded down to nothing. And now, when these games come out, people don't buy them on trust anymore. Gee, maybe if Ubisoft hadn't put out so many pieces of shit, someone might have bought Skull and Bones, right? But because they put out so much garbage, people don't trust the games anymore, and all these ones that are flopping, right? FromSoft has not had a flop. Think about that. There's not been a flop. Their track record has been pristine for over a decade, and it's hit after hit, banger after banger, win after win. That's why they can give their employees across the board rewards. That's why they're a great company that everyone is applauding. This is why. It's not hard to figure out. The problem is, again, there's an entire echelon of people, a group of upper crust of people who don't think they have to have any accountability for their bad decisions or actions. So they don't even think that, oh, let's use From Software as our example of greatness and try to emulate them. They just think, oh, well, we don't know what we're doing. I guess we'll just keep failing miserably and then go out on our golden parachutes, and then maybe we'll sell the company off and get a big payday at some point. Like, what? What the hell? That makes no sense to me at all, but that's how it is. So I'm happy to hear that FromSoft is doing great. I seriously am. But what's sad is that no one seems to understand that it is not a flopping industry. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to explain something to you right now, okay? Video games are at a record high. Video games have more players than ever before. They're making more money than ever before. It is the most profitable industry in the world. It makes more money than movies, music, TV, and all other entertainment mediums combined. That's how big video games are. To have executives of video game companies coming out and saying, oh, we're in a slump, we're in a downward trend, is madness. It's the ultimate copium for their ultimately bad decisions. They're the ones who ran their companies into the ground, and they don't feel like they ever have to have responsibility for it. Why? Because they're so fucking rich, they've never taken responsibility for anything their entire lives, so why start now? They seem to be protected from any kind of repercussions, so why would they admit, oh, it's our fault, we screwed up? They have people in the same exact industry releasing games that are doing well and making insane profits, and the companies are expanding and rewarding the employees. Why is it that they can't do the same? Because the fucking management sucks. That's the only reason. FromSoft should be applauded, and all these other companies that are failing should be derided and called out. The management needs to be upped the fuck out of there and get people with brains who understand the gaming industry in charge before it's too late. Do you want to see a gaming crash because these companies are so greedy and idiotic they don't know what they're doing? You know what I mean? Listen, industries thrive when there is competition. Understand that. We need to have EA, Ubisoft, Bethesda, Microsoft Game Studios, Santa Monica, Rockstar. We need to have a lot of game studios, because if we don't, there's no competition, there's no innovation, they'll all just get stagnant, right? And now that you hear Ubisoft wants to sell and this company is failing, Xbox wants to get out of the games game. It's like, what? No, stop. Instead of that, fire the fucking people who suck and get people in there who know how to run things. I don't understand why they wouldn't get people who are like previous game developers or heads of game studios, or people, there's people out there who are intelligent, who could do things right. Why do you get the people who are dummies in charge? It's mind-numbingly stupid. But maybe what it is just total ignorance. Everyone is just so ignorant who controls these companies, they don't even understand what's going on, right? I don't know. It drives me nuts. I love video games. It's my job as well as my hobby, right? I'm a 16-year gaming YouTuber and climbing, because now actually we're heading into year 17, if you can believe it. September was my 16th anniversary, so now we're heading into my 17th year being a gaming YouTuber. And to see the industry acting like this, like little babies, and, oh, the industry's falling apart. No, it's not. You're just an idiot. And you just will not account for the bad things you've done, right? But then FromSoft's doing good. So there's the thing. If there was no success stories, then you could argue, all right, well, I see what's going on. It is the industry that's falling apart. But there's there's success stories. So it ain't what they're saying. That's their cope. That's their copium for the bad things they've done, and it needs to change. I don't think that Ubisoft selling to Tencent is the solution here. Just saying. Okay. Well, folks, I've covered the topics that I wanted to cover here on the podcast. So now we have a little bit of extra time, about 10, 15 minutes. I'd like to hear what you guys want to talk about. Tag me in the chat, and let's talk a little bit about whatever you want. And also, contributions-wise, let's get it going. Miss Sparkles with the only super chat of the day, $2, and Perry the White with the $5 tip. Let's get some people to top those right now. Let's take a look at how we're doing on the stream. 81 likes. Let's get that up to 100 likes, if you would, please. That would help this channel a lot for engagement purposes. And thank you, Perry, for those gifted memberships earlier. All right. What does everyone want to talk about? Before we adjourn the show and we head over to play more of the Metaphor demo, what's on everyone's mind? 17 years of gaming is amazing. Yeah, I know, man. It's crazy. Like, I keep forgetting. Like, I had my 15-year anniversary a year and a half ago. Holy shit. Time just flies. I can't believe I'm entering year 17 right now. Tell the 360 story you mentioned the other night. I have no idea what you're talking about, Brian. Oh, I know, Ad the Gamer. Here's the thing. I don't want to give it attention. Because if you give that attention, for those who don't know what he's talking about, that's on purpose. So basically, there's been some malicious things happening with my trolls and detractors recently. It's really unhinged behavior. It's actually insane behavior, what they're doing at this point. I'm not going to give it the attention that they want. I refuse. There's no point. Because that way, they wasted their time and money on it. So I'm not going to talk about it. And the best policy is to not address it. And if we see it happening, just let everyone know. I'll put up a pinned message. Hey, everyone, it's happening again. Just ignore it. It's all good. Okay? Truffles, I've already given that opinion. He says, what's your opinion on Rockstar milking GTA 5 and barely making any new games? It's just sad. All right? It's sad because Rockstar was known as a company that innovated, right? Think about the games that Rockstar put out over the years. You had driving games, right? Didn't they make Midnight Club or something like that? They had, like, Bully. They had the GTA series. They had Max Payne that they had bought with Max Payne 3. They had a ping pong game, right? They had all these different games under their umbrella. And there was creativity coming out of that studio like crazy. And then all of a sudden, they just decide, because GTA 5 has an online mode that catches on. And I'll be honest with you, I think it was inadvertent. I don't think they had intended that online mode was going to take off the way it did. But it basically became this big thing with role-playing, right? That people now, they modded it and they started doing role-playing with it. And the next thing you know, they want to benefit from it. So they jump on that bandwagon of what people are liking about it or whatever. And the way I see it, again, that's a case in point, a company that didn't care about how they affected culture or what they put out as long as it made money. Right? They very well could have continued to work on GTA 5 online and then also made other games. They just did not care. They knew that GTA 5 online was printing them money, so they said, we're just going to work on what prints money, right? Guys, imagine this. Imagine if here in my content, I literally only played viral games and I only did drama content. That's all I did. Imagine if today I didn't do any news on my show because I said, man, news doesn't print me money. I only made $10 today, right? On the podcast. So I'm just never going to do any meaningful news ever again because obviously it's not printing money, right? Imagine that. Imagine if I just said, from now on, I will never cover any game where I don't have above 400 viewers and I'm not making $100 that stream. Things would be a little different around here, don't you think? Basically, I would lose all of my core fan base. Everyone would leave. I would only have people coming in who are more like meme watchers, right? People who are here for drama, people who are just here for the big stuff. I wouldn't have that meaningful content feeling anymore, right? In reality, I balance what I do for a reason. Yes, I will play the popular games. Yes, I will do some drama content here or there. But that's not going to be the end-all, be-all of me because at the end of the day, I want to feel like what you watched added some meaning to your life, maybe informed you, maybe you got something good. You know what I'm saying? That to have that level of variety is a good thing. But instead, Rockstar, opposite philosophy. The moment that they found the game for them that was going to be the money printer, sink all resources into it and dump all other efforts. Cancel Bully 2, cancel all the story DLCs that we've already almost finished for GTA 5. They almost finished them. They had all the voice work done. They had the mocap done. They had the game assets developed. But they canceled them almost at the finish line so that they could pump out more meaningless content for GTA Online because it made more money. Lady Charisma says, what about Larian Studios and Baldur's Gate 3? Exactly. You see Larian pumping out content for Baldur's Gate 3 right now? Man, that season pass has really been profitable for them, hasn't it? Right? Really? I know. So just think of what could have been in the last decade. a decade of GTA Online only and reselling GTA 5, we could have had probably GTA 6. We probably could have had Bully 2, 3 story expansions for GTA 5, and they probably would have made other content too. Maybe they would have revived Max Payne. They would have done all these things. But no, instead we just get GTA Online, which is only for a select group of people who just happen to have big wallets, right? The big walleted people who want to keep sinking money into this role-playing community. And that's enough for them. Well, good for you, but what happens is you fall out of relevance. Now, with GTA 6, this is going to be interesting to see. I do think it'll sell like crazy. I believe that. But my wonder is, can they pump out a game in GTA 6 that's actually really good? Guys, they haven't put out a game in over a decade. You realize that, right? Like, the only game that they put out was Red Dead Redemption 2, and the only reason they even put that out is because it was so far into development when GTA Online dropped, they weren't going to cancel it. Everything else they canceled. I wonder if they even have the ability to put out something that's going to be worth playing. Quite honest, I don't know. I hope GTA 6 is good. Listen, I want it to be good. I want it to be great graphics, amazing story, groundbreaking stuff. I want it to be. But I don't want to buy GTA 6, play through a 20-hour campaign that feels like an afterthought, and then have to say, oh, well, GTA Online is the meat. Go play GTA Online in it instead. Because that's what made the money, right? I hope they haven't changed their shift. You know what I'm saying? Really. It sucks. I hope that they haven't lost their way, but you got to get nervous about it, right? You really do. Let's see here. From Jokester, they took me $2 and says, I found out Joker 2 is a musical. What's your opinion on musicals? Are you a fan? I used to like some musicals when I was a kid, like West Side Story, Grease, that kind of stuff. But I haven't seen that many. I used to get exposed to some, like Singing in the Rain and stuff like that. My mom used to like Fred Astaire musicals and stuff, so I saw some of them as a kid. But I don't really think I've really seen that many to make a judgment. Certainly, I haven't seen any or many modern musicals. Like, I think that the most popular one of recent note was that La La Land. I never saw that one. And I don't know anything about Joker 2. Joker 1, I really liked. Saw it years after it had been out, and I really enjoyed it. But apparently, from what I'm hearing, Joker 2 is not doing well at all. That Joker 2 is a completely different kind of movie. You could tell they wanted to try to do something different. Maybe even to stick it to certain groups of people, which I don't think is a good idea to make a movie, say, stick it to people. I think that's pretty dumb. And if that's the case, perhaps it was a horrible misstep, because I've heard that the critics have said it's terrible. The viewers are saying it's terrible. Because sometimes you'll have this disagreement, especially with you know, comic book centric movies, right? They can basically be like, well, you know, they get panned by the critics, but the viewers really like them, so it doesn't matter because they make a lot of money. In this case, Joker 2 is the opposite, where the critics don't like it. Oh, by the way, the audiences are also saying it sucks, and it's not going to make much money if this trend continues. So I don't know. I haven't seen it. You know what I'm saying? But people are not liking it very much, supposedly. Citrus-san saw it and says, it's above average, but man, the bad parts of it really stand out. Wow. Yeah, I mean, you get that vibe, like the Joker movie, the Joaquin Phoenix, right? Joker movie is not the comic book Joker. It's a completely new character. And that character is very scary and terrifying and entertaining to watch. But it ain't the comic book Joker. You know, and so what that begs the question is this, right? If it's not the comic book Joker, and also it's not the Joker from the recent Batman franchise, because they have their own Joker that they're going to be, you know, working on, then why does it have Harley Quinn, the sequel? Why, if it's not the Joker from the DC universe that we know, then why does it have to have another character from the DC universe that we know in it? Why did they have to go for the lowest common denominator of put the name drop character in there that's been in 17 other movies and franchises recently, all of which failed. I mean, can I reiterate? Suicide Squad, the other Suicide Squad, and Birds of Prey all fucking have failed. So why do we think we need Harley Quinn in this movie? I just don't get it. I just don't understand it. I don't know. Anyway, all right, guys. We have to adjourn. All right, we have to adjourn because we have had a good time here, but I do need to play more of the Metaphor demo. The way that people are explaining to me, this demo is that it might take 2 more streams to finish it. That is, the demo is that long. We're in an optional dungeon right now that we just kind of started, and it looks like it's going to take a while to get through it. We may have to do some big resource management to get through it. And if that's the case, you know, maybe a big chunk, if not the whole stream today, and then we have the finale, which is another dungeon. So, yeah. So we got to get to it. All right, guys? And I thank you all. Now, remember, the way I'm doing this is this stream will now end, but you will get a pop-up that says, hey, go over to the other stream, because that's where the action is. I hope you'll join me. You know, we had almost 400 viewers for this podcast, and I appreciate that. I hope that you will continue over to the Metaphor stream. Here's the thing. Metaphor is very chill. We're going to have a nice, chill, interactive stream. If you're looking to hang out with me and have conversation while I'm playing a game, especially because I'm going to be in a dungeon, this is the stream for it. Okay? Don't think, oh, he's going to play a game that's boring. No, it's going to be a social stream. That's the point. Like, that's what makes RPGs work, is having that social aspect. So I want you guys to come along and come hang out with me. Okay? We can continue a lot of these conversations we just had while I'm playing the game. All right? So thank you guys so much. Great show today. I appreciate you all hanging out with me. I hope that you'll come over for Metaphor. Remember, I'm also doing the MVC collection on Friday Night Fights tonight and tomorrow. Return to Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster with Silent Hill 2 Remake premiering on Sunday. Thank you all. See you later, and it's out.